Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. We've got Joe here from the Albion Obsessed. So good evening, how are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Thanks for having me on.
It's right, so it is Forest v Brighton on Saturday. I mean, nice to have 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. How is Brighton season going on this at the minute?
Yeah, Saturday 3 o'clock's a very unusual for us at the moment, as you can imagine, with Europe and playing on a Sunday. Thursday night kickoffs, trips to Europe, etc. I haven't been to Europe, unfortunately. Hopefully, we can get into the latter rounds, and I can find my way over there or something. But yeah, it's been a strange season, a balancing act that we've never had to do, and I think it's taking the toll on the players. I think there's a lot in our performances that you can see that we're struggling. There's a lot of injuries at the moment, so we're coming to probably the toughest part of the season right now. So it will be interesting to see how we get on Saturday and whether we can, you know, keep our league form from nosediving because it hasn't been great of late.
What do you think with that balancing that thing with Europe and Premier League had that toll on you guys? Or is it like second team's room with your manager? What caused Brighton not to be as good as they have been last season?
Yeah, I think that plays a part definitely. I think you can't look away from the fact that we've lost Alexis McAllister, we've lost Moises Caicedo. Um, that's the engine of our team ripped out in one summer. Yes, we got good money from it, but did we replace in the way that we wanted to? Probably not. We've added in areas. We've brought in some good players, but Alexis McAllister and Moises Caicedo are two very, very difficult players to replace. And it's coming to a head now that we probably haven't got that quality that we desire. And De Zerbi's trying to beat it out of his players week in week out, and I'm sure we'll see it come good. But then we've also got to balance it with mental fatigue, physical fatigue, etc. Um, so we'll see how we go. We're already out of the Carabao Cup anyway, so that's one less competition to worry about.
That's for me went out earlier as well. So um, I don't know the feeling about it, but I mean, how are you guys enjoying Europe? I mean, first time Europe, is it like what you expect it to be?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a dream. I think I've said to a lot of people that I enjoyed the journey more than I'm enjoying the destination. It's been very stressful. You don't want to embarrass yourself on a new stage, and I don't think we have done that. I think there was probably fears that we were going to in the first one and a half games anyway, where we lost to Athens and then we were 2-0 down at half time to Marseille in the first two games, and we fought back and we showed the character that we showed last season in those really tough moments of the season to come back and to really prove to people that we're not just here to make up the numbers and we will compete. And then we've gone and done the double over 4 times European champions Ajax. Obviously, granted, they're not the team that they used to be, absolutely, but you can't take away from the fact that little old Brighton Hove Albion, who almost died as a football club, have just gone and beaten Ajax twice in a row, 2-0, no problems at all. So I think we're confident going into the last two games in Europe that we can progress to the next round, and it's credit to the club because we've clearly done something right, and we continue to do that now.
And that's for him because Forest Brighton, I mean, he used to be a League One fixture like years ago, and
Mm.
I thought, especially Brighton, their journey from where they were to where they are now, it's really unreal. I mean, especially with Roberto Di Seabri, I think I pronounced that right. Um, I mean, he's came to the Premier League and just gave the league something different. I mean, looking from the outside in, he's done really well. But how do you guys find it, him as a manager?
Uh, Considering he was given links to Real Madrid this week, it gives you all you need to know about Roberto De Zerbi and the caliber that we have at our football club. That was the case when Graham Potter was here. You know, we put these people and these players and these managers in the market as such, and people can look at us and say, wow, if they're doing so well at Brighton, could they do well for us? For Graham Potter, it didn't work out so well. For Roberto De Zerbi, I think it's different. I think Roberto De Zerbi is a different beast of a manager. I think he's got that swagger about him. I think he's got that. He could be the next elite coach alongside the likes of Jurgen Klopp, alongside the likes of Pep Guardiola, Diego Simeone, Jose Mourinho. He's got that personality about him that he could go right to the very top. He backs himself. His staff back him. Every single player that's played under him has said how much they love him. The sky's the limit for Roberto De Zerbi, and I think we're just very lucky at Brighton to have him whilst we have him. And it's not lost on us that if he continues to do well for us, he will probably go in the summer to a bigger club. But that's just the life of being a Brighton fan or being a Forest fan. I'm sure you guys know all about that as well. So it's just, if you're not a big six club, you have to suffer like this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had it with Brennan Johnson, to be fair. The end of when season we went up, like, there was rumours we'll stay where we go if we went up. Even last summer we had it, and it was inevitable when it went, but he got the move he wanted, and we actually got a season out of him, so.
Yeah, those are the types of players that you wish could stay at your football club forever. Moises Caicedo, Alexis McAllister. We've had more players that have been and gone. Leandro Trossard, Ben White. I could go on and name so many players that if they were still with us, we would be a force to be reckoned with, and probably title contenders. To be quite honest with you, and that's just not the case. And we have to restart and reset and bring these players through like we have been doing. And we are doing that. The likes of Carlos Baliba, Simon Adingra, Karim Matoma, still at this football club, Evan Ferguson. And they can all shoot us to a new level. And I hope that they do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was going to ask you about what players should Forest be looking out for on Saturday, because I know Evan Ferguson, he's been into a bit near enough every week at the minute, into.
Evan Ferguson is suffering a little bit with fatigue, suffering a little bit with an injury. I think he's been playing through a little bit of pain. We've probably not seen the best Evan Ferguson for a while, probably since he scored his hat-trick against Newcastle. And that's the case with a lot of our players. Karim Matoma had to pull out of the Japan squad. Pervis Estupiñán still got a leg brace on. Evan Ferguson's an injury out, as I say. Lewis Dunk's an injury out. So we've got a lot of things to overcome. Solly March is out for a long time. Danny Welbeck, we don't know when he's back. Tarek Lamptey. So there's all these really, really good players that would be, in for a shout as starting for our team week in, week out, that we don't have to call upon. Who I think will be the player to turn up and cause Forest problems on Saturday, I really don't know, because we're really struggling to keep hold of our league form and pose threats. And I think, obviously, with so many injuries, the players that are fit probably think, "Oh, I'll be all right. I'm not injured, so I'm in the 11, no problem." And maybe that takes away a little bit of the motivation to perform so well. But we've got the likes of Ansu Fati on loan from Barcelona, João Pedro, who's done really well in Europe for us, and at times in the league. So I think we can be confident that we still do have the players that can cause Forest some problems.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, I mean, Antu Fati is one, when I seen on deadline day he was going to Brighton, I thought that's a big sign for you guys. Even when you look at it, like you said, Brighton. I mean, for you guys to bring Fatu in, just going to show how far you guys have come as a club.
Yeah, it's massive for us, and never in a million years. If you asked me, even 2 years ago, if you asked me, will Ansu Fati ever sign for your football club, whether that be permanent or a loan, I would have called you absolutely crazy. There's no way that Brighton and Hove Albion would get a player on loan from Barcelona Football Club, a player that took over Lionel Messi's number 10 shirt as well. Ansu Fati was dubbed the next biggest thing, and still is. A lot of people still look at him to be a player that could really make a stake in one of the greatest young talents at the moment, and could then be on the same level as Vinicius Junior and people like that. He needs the confidence. When Ansu Fati's confident, he is an unbelievable player to watch play football. And obviously, you guys, it'll be a detriment if he plays well this weekend, but at least you will get to see a really special footballer, and a footballer that could have a massive future in the game. Roberto De Zerbi's come out to say, how much he needs to protect Ansu Fati, how much of a special talent he is, and how lucky we are to have him at our football club. And it's a massive statement for us to have him at our football club. And he's scoring really important goals for us at really important times. And I hope he continues to do that for the next 8 or 9 months.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, how you said it about, you asked me 2 years ago about Fatu. I said it after deadline day. I mean, some of the players were brought in, like Sandori and Origi. I text my mum about it. Like, he was said to me 2 years ago when we were just climbing up championship table, like, without bringing these players in, I would have put someone in a care home because
Yeah.
I wouldn't
My
have
head
believed
was
them.
my head was spun when you guys signed Keylor Navas. Like that, where did that come from? Like as you say, this was a League One fixture, and now we're signing players that have been played on the biggest stage in world football. And it's a credit to both clubs to be where we are.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what's your thoughts on Forest from the outside in?
Yeah, I mean we've had some really good games against Forest over the years in the Championship, especially. There's been some real classics for us that live up there as some of the best games that I've ever witnessed. The last day of the season when Leonardo Ulloa scored in the last minute was really special for me. Steve Sidwell scoring in the last minute as well. Really good memories of playing you guys. And when you came up, I thought it was thoroughly deserved, and you had a really good season last season. I thought you posed a lot of teams problems where people probably thought that you would be a Luton type or something like that, but you really challenged. And you're in the Premier League for a reason, and you're competing. This season I think you're unbeaten at home in the league. So we're coming to a fortress. I think the City Ground is a really tough place to go. And last season you played us an absolute blinder. Um, Given we were off the back of 120 minutes of football against Manchester United at Wembley and lost in probably one of the most heartbreaking ways you can lose a football game.
Yeah.
But Forest were relentless. They were unforgiving, and they killed us. So there's no doubt in my mind that could happen again, especially with the injury problems that we do have. But I hope that we go there and end your unbeaten run at home.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame me. I always remember our game at City Ground last season because I remember saying after when you guys lost to Man U, like, this could go one or two ways. Like, Brighton could quite easily bounce back, and I mean, they could quite easily beat us 3 or 4 nil, or they could do what go the other way. So I couldn't agree more. I actually remember that goal when you guys scored in 90th minute to get into playoffs.
That was special because Burnley were playing Reading as well, and we needed Reading to draw, and Burnley scored in the last minute to make it 2-2. And then Brighton needed a goal, and it was like I was watching on Sky Sports. I wasn't lucky enough to be there, and they were cutting between the two grounds, and I think Stephen Ward scored the goal to draw the game. And we had so many chances in that game. We were just pressing your goal, peppering it, and Leonardo Ulloa to score and send us into the playoffs. And then we then we went and lost 4-1 to Derby in the playoffs, which was atrocious. But yeah, the playoffs did not like us. I'm just glad we did it automatically a few years later.
And that's the thing because weren't it weren't it that season, or was it the season after you appointed Chris Eaton as well? Oh,
So the season after we lost in the playoffs, we appointed Sammy Huppier, ex-Liverpool defender, and that was an absolute. Can I swear? on this?
Yeah, yeah.
That was an absolute shitstorm. It was awful. I've never seen such bad football. So negative. Like he was trying to play this three at the back system with inverted wing backs, and we were shipping goals for days. And then he got sacked. Chris Hughton comes in, steadies the ship. The next year, we lose out on automatic promotion by a goal, I believe. We lost out on goal difference, which was heartbreaking. And then we go again, and like you think, if a club that suffered that much heartbreak, we've tried for promotion to the Premier League
Mm,
4 times before we actually got promoted. Um, and yeah, for us to go again, it's a credit to our owner that he sees this club performing at the highest level. When we got promoted to the Premier League, he said, "I want this club to be a European team within 10 years." He done it within 6 or 7.
mm,
So you know we're so lucky to be run by the people we're run by, and you know it's not lost on us how lucky we are as a football club to have such good owners, because there's so many clubs getting sold into the ground, and it's so heartbreaking to see all across the football pyramid right to the very bottom. And the Premier League have to do more for grassroots football. We have to do more for lower league clubs, because you know football is our absolute life. And you know, had clubs not have helped Brighton 27 years ago, we would never be able to experience the moments we're experiencing now. So we consider ourselves very lucky. Um, so the hard times, yeah, they're hard, but they're nowhere near as hard as what it used to be. So we're just enjoying the run.
yeah, definitely. We was like that last season, and I mean, we could have gone really bad if we didn't stay up and Forest decided to sell it to Marinaka. So completely agree with you on that. I mean, the Premier League and the EFL need to do better on ownerships and all that. Because they can't let this go down like the Riverberry and all that. Um, so I completely stand with you on that. I mean, sat this game. I mean, what sort of like team you're expecting to play and your score prediction?
Um, so it's a really tough one because I don't know who's fit. We haven't had the Roberto De Zerbi press conference yet, so it's hard to know where our squad's going to be at, especially after an international break as well. We've got João Pedro coming all the way back from South America, so whether he'll be available, whether he's trained enough. So I expect it to be quite similar to what we saw last time out. And yeah, it'd probably be Steele, uh, either Van Heck, Igor, or Webster in centre back. It would be Milner probably at left back, alongside Veltman at right back, and it would be a midfield two, I'd imagine, of Billy Gilmore and Pascal Gross. I'd like to see a front three of Fatty, Adingra, and Matoma if he's fit, and João Pedro up front, I'd imagine.
Oh, that it sounds really good. I mean, depending on Mourinho's injury, I mean, then it's debating who we will start at centre half. Um, I think we keep the similar sort of team what we did. I think he Odyssey can go with the back four, and the Nikati. I think if Mourinho's not fit, I think it'd be Bolle. If not, I think it'd be Mourinho. Toffler at left back. Then I think it'd be the usual midfield trio. Mangala, Dominides, and Sandara. Then the front three, it'd be interesting to see the least who we play. I think it will play in Landrod, Gibbs White, and Wanley, but it depending which way we go about it, because I know Gibbs White been getting a little bit of flack at the minute for his performances. So, but I think it's depending on injuries to be fair. But it we're not at the Cooper press conference, but Cooper being Cooper don't really like to give his cards away too much.
Mm.
Have we got a score prediction?
Uh, as I say, you guys are unbeaten at home. We're not very good at breaking records or breaking runs, so it'll probably stay that way. I'd Would I take a draw? Probably not. I think we need a win. And so, yeah, for me, I've got to go with my heart and say 2-1 Brighton, but I think it'll be a tough game.
I completely agree with that. Like, I think it'll all be a tough game. I mean, depending what sort of fan base turns up for Forest, because it's not been as good as it was last season with the atmosphere. I think Red sort of says, I think 1-1, I think my heart will say 2-1 Forest as well. So, but yeah, do you want to say about where they can find you on Albion?
Yeah, so our podcast is called Albion Obsessed. You can find us across all social media using at Albion Obsessed. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. If you want to find anything out about what Brighton are up to, we are doing all that good stuff. And we've got a very, very cool documentary coming out as well about our old stadium called the Withdean. It was an old running track. We had 4,000 fans in there in the pouring rain, week in, week out, and we went back there and were given all access to go back to where the magic happened, and we survived as a football club. So keep an eye out for that as well. As I say, that's Albion Obsessed on YouTube.
So do go over and check that documentary out, and do check out the channel as well. Thank you for coming on the channel as per usual, Joe.
No worries. No worries. Yeah, thanks for having me, mate.
It's
Best
like
of
no
luck, but
worries.
not for Saturday.
Yeah, definitely same to you. So I'd like to say thank you and goodbye.
Cheers.